Oh yeah, my name is Eddie O'Neill. I'm married to Monica. We have 6 children and they've all been educated at home. A couple of them went into school for a few years, so we have both of that side. I also am a secondary school teacher, so I teach in school at the same time. We've also fostered 21 children over 10 years, and one of those children was educated at home. I believe that my job as a parent is to get out of the way, and every child is born with all they need to have a wonderful life of purpose, and my job is to just allow that to happen. I don't think my job is to teach anyone. I think my job is to allow children to learn and allow people to learn. And the best way for me to do that is for me to be the best version of myself I can be. So then my children will connect with their purpose in life. A couple of years ago we were asked to register our children for home education, but the law in Ireland is a bit iffy because we're treated as people who are not in school rather than people who are educating their children at home. And according to the Constitution, that's our fundamental right. So we decided we wouldn't register, so we were fined €3,500 each, and we decided no, not to pay, because if we paid we might as well register. We're just admitting that our children are for sale. So we were put in prison independently for a short period of time, and then the solicitors wanted to get more convictions, but then the judge threw the case out of court. He said he's not dealing with it anymore, so that's where it is, and it's up to us now to sue the state for wrongful imprisonment and all those things. I really enjoy being here at these events, especially the good weather coming from Ireland. It's great to have a bit of sunshine, and it's amazing just being around watching wonderful people just connecting with each other and sharing a common purpose, which is, I suppose, to create a better world for everyone to live in. I love listening to people's stories. Everyone has a story, and every story is equally important. Even if it's only somebody who's 2 years old, it's as important as the president's story. I think events like this are very important to give people inspiration, give people hope, to connect, and to, in a world where you're standing out different to other people, it's important to have some way of feeling normal in all of that. I really like Spain, I have to say. I love the Spanish people for some reason. I think I have Spanish blood in me, apparently, from years and years and years ago. I was here when an event was like this was in Gandia 3 years ago, so I'm very delighted to be back. And I think that's where I have enough to say. That's a good question. My wife suggested, our oldest son is 29, and our other children are 22, 20, 15, 12 and 8. So my wife suggested I want to home educate, and I said, oh, you can't do that. So my talk is about getting from me thinking you can't do that to being arrested for standing up for my principles and believing in it, and all the steps involved, you know, the things I learned. Like, so as a secondary school teacher, I feel I'm a much better teacher in school. Teacher is just a label, because I've learned to educate at home. I actually don't think I teach, I allow people to learn. Because if I'm teaching, it doesn't necessarily mean that the children are learning, but if the children are learning, well, then I must be doing something right. I allow them to, for example, in school I think children learn 2 things. The first thing they learn is to do what they're told. They have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. The second thing they learn is to wait for permission. Can I go to the toilet? Can I take off my jumper? Can I open my books? I also, so I would allow children, if they want to go to the toilet, they can just go to the toilet. They don't have to get permission from me. I don't do homework because I think it's a waste of time. The only homework I would do is if I teach woodwork, so if somebody has a father who is a carpenter and he might have information, the child can do that homework and bring it in. It's research to help the rest of the children. There's also a process I have used that I've learnt called connect, create, commit. So every time we humans make a decision, it's actually that process, connecting, creating and committing. It's part of the creative process of life. And so to connect, you actually ask why. So in school, lots of children, they tell you what they're doing. It's like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and then I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do this. But then when you ask them why, it's a totally different question. And they said, oh, I'm doing this because I want to, and then they start feeling empowered. And then create, you ask them, well, what would you like? You know, so what would you like is, well, I would like to make a bird box and I would like to use this and I would like to learn how to draw and I would like to learn Spanish, I would like to learn how to bake a cake. And then commit is, well, what do I have to do, by when, to make that happen? And then it's a nice simple process. It works very well. The biggest thing I think I use in school and at home and everywhere is that every decision we make is based on love or fear. So if you're not happy, you're afraid of something. So I would say to children, if they're not happy, I say, well, what are you afraid of? Well, if I'm afraid of failing my exams, I'm afraid of people will laugh at me, etc., etc. You know, and in school I will say, if a bag is on the ground, I will say, I would like, which is the love part, I would like you to remove the bag because I'm afraid someone will fall. And it works. It's not confrontational.